Okay, hello, let's get this recap started. But ask yourself this question before we begin. If you had a deadly superpower, would you still use it? Or would you let it go? We open to this girl in Seoul, South Korea at a park with her mom. Suddenly, lightning strikes and a giant monster materializes. It starts taking a stroll through the city. We then cut to 25 years later to New York. We meet Gloria, who tries sneaking into her house, hungover. Her boyfriend Tim catches her and tells her he's tired of her coming home drunk and jobless and kicks her out. She heads back to her hometown in Maidenhead, New Hampshire. She runs into a childhood friend of hers, Oscar, who takes her to his bar that he inherited from his father. We meet Oscar's friends, Garth and Joel. Gloria's hormones develop an instant crush on Joel. Everyone's vibing when suddenly Joel tries to kiss her. She bobs and weaves like a trained boxer while Oscar yells at his friend telling him to chill out. Gloria heads home hungover when she gets a call from her sister telling her to check out the news. She sees that there was a massive attack in Seoul and immediately calls her ex Tim, who tells her that happened 9 hours ago. He surmises that she was drinking all day again and says he doesn't want to talk to her. Gloria heads back to the bar and Oscar offers her a job, which isn't really good for her alcoholism because she basically drinks all day and hangs out with Oscar and his friends. Gloria's home and sees that the monster attacked again. Oscar's consoling her when she witnesses the monster in a strange position, holding its ear and scratching its head, which is something she does all the time as a habit. She looks at more footage of the monster sightings and sees that it looks as if it's carrying something on its back, around the time she was carrying her mattress. She surmises that she has something to do with the monster. She retraces her steps and finds out the attack happened around the time she was at the park at 8:05 a.m. She does some map stuff and ends up linking the park geography to South Korea's geography. She then raises one arm in the air, then both arms. Gloria heads home later to turn on the news to see the monster mimicking her exact movement. Gloria passes out. She then wakes up to Tim calling her to check on her. Joel and Oscar kindly bring her a sofa since she ruined her mattress by passing out on it. Later at the bar, they all start discussing the monster attacks. Garth proposes a theory that the monster is being controlled and probably doesn't have a consciousness due to it never acknowledging its surroundings, which, well, is pretty spot on. They all start drinking and Gloria tells them about her connection to the monster. She brings them to the park at 8:05 and tells the skeptical men to pull up live streams of the monster attack. Gloria begins dancing and to their surprise, the monster starts doing the same thing. A shocked Joel still thinks that it might be a prank, but Gloria proves her hypothesis by the continued similarities between her and the monster. She suddenly feels tiny pricks on her stomach and the men tell her rockets have been shot at the monster. It turns out she feels what the monster feels. She starts punching the air as a joke, but since the monster does what she does, it strikes down a helicopter. She freaks out and since she's been drinking, falls on her face. She wakes up at her house witnessing the destruction the monster caused when she fell. The death count was apparently high, making Gloria very guilt-ridden. Oscar goes to her house and shows her the newspaper. It seems a robot had emerged alongside the monster when she fell. Oscar believes that since he stepped in the park around that time, the robot is him. Gloria is still guilt-ridden about her inadvertently killing people, but Oscar doesn't seem that bothered. Gloria writes an apology message in Korean and the next morning arrives at the park, which means the monster arrived in Korea. She gestures for all the people to move away and writes a message on the ground which spells out, "I am sorry, it was an accident and it won't happen again." Everyone now believes the monster is good and just made a mistake. Gloria decides to avoid alcohol in the park altogether. She ends up hooking up with Joel and spending the night at his place. She wakes up and sees the robot attack on TV. She runs over to the park and sees Oscar and Garth drunk, carelessly messing with the people of South Korea. Gloria realizes only the two of them can manifest these giant monsters and confronts her friend Oscar. She tells him to leave and slaps him. Oscar leaves, and the people of Seoul cheer on the monster. Oscar thinks something happened between Gloria and Joel and is jealous. Back at the bar, drunk Oscar starts insulting his friends and demanding Gloria have a drink with him, or he'll go back to the park. She responds by pouring the beer in front of him. Oscar heads over to the park with Joel while Gloria chases after him. They arrive at the park and begin to fight, with the monsters fighting as well on the other side of the world. They fall on the ground with Oscar giving Gloria a headlock. They then get up and leave. The next day, Joel arrives at Gloria's house with Oscar's apology, a bunch of furniture. Tim then arrives at her town and Gloria meets him at a hotel. Tim is upset that she's working at a bar since she's a whole alcoholic and they get into an argument. They head to the bar, and upon meeting Tim, Oscar starts acting up. He brings a massive firework to the middle of his bar and sets it off, lighting his bar on fire. Tim realizes that Oscar is an entire psychopath and tells Gloria they should go. Oscar says she's not going anywhere and gives her a look. Realizing that he'll probably go to the park and kill a bunch of people if she leaves, she stays. Later that evening, she's walking home and finds Oscar inside her house. He begins speaking to her in a very commanding tone, telling her to sit down. While he's barking orders at her, she has a flashback. A young Gloria and Oscar are walking to school with their school projects, a diorama of South Korea, to which Gloria's is clearly more well-made than Oscar's. The wind suddenly blows away Gloria's project, and Oscar heads over to find it for her. Once he finds it, he begins to stomp on her project in a jealous rage. She catches him and looks pretty upset. Suddenly, lightning strikes the children and they fall to the ground. We see toys resembling their manifested robots fall out of their respective bags. Okay, let's head back to the present. Gloria starts going in on Oscar, telling him he's a clown and probably hates himself. She also says she's heading back to New York with Tim. Oscar gets upset and the two begin going at it with furniture flying and everything. Oscar leaps out of the window into the night, clearly heading for the park. Gloria chases him down and squares up. He begins to fight back and hits her with an Uzumaki barrage. He begins stomping and destroying a large part of Seoul. He then tells her every day she's gone, he'll come back to the park, killing more and more people. Gloria heads home and hatches a plan. She apologizes to Tim for not going with him, but says she owes him no explanation. Gloria then packs her bags and takes a plane to South Korea. Oscar goes over to her house, seeing that she left. He then gets drunk and starts rampaging through the park. We flash to South Korea and see everyone running away from the rampaging monster, except one lone person walking towards it. That person is Gloria. Oscar is about to stomp on a group of people, but is stopped in his tracks by rumbling on the ground. He looks up and sees Gloria's giant monster heading towards him. Oscar takes off while Gloria reaches forward to grab at the air, which in turn makes her monster grab Oscar. This makes Oscar's robot float in the air suspended. Oscar starts crying and begging Gloria to put him down, then starts to swear at her. She decides to put him down, and by put him down I mean throw him across the ocean, killing him. The people all cheer. Gloria walks away while people rejoice around her. She heads to a bar and asks the bartender if she'd like to hear a crazy story. The bartender says sure and offers her a drink. Gloria sighs. The end.